We are going to learn about clinical correlation of jaundice. We will apply the basic science knowledge of bilirubin metabolism to clinical context and clinical case scenarios. So, let us start by again understanding what is jaundice. Jaundice is simply defined as yellowish discoloration of skin, sclera or mucous membranes due to increase in serum bilirubin levels. This increase in serum bilirubin levels is called as hyperbilirubinemia. Now, how do we define hyperbilirubinemia? When bilirubin levels are more than normal. So, normal bilirubin levels are up to 1 milligram per deciliter or 17 micromoles per deciliter in the serum, and these units are interconvertible because there are two types of bilirubin in the serum. That is why we can have two types of hyperbilirubinemia. First type of hyperbilirubinemia is conjugated. Conjugated hyperbilirubinemia is defined as hyperbilirubinemia when serum fraction of conjugated bilirubin is more than 15%, and unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, which is defined as when serum fraction of conjugated bilirubin is less than 15%. So, this definition is very simple and very important. Now, next thing we should know about conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, that it is also called as direct hyperbilirubinemia because the same fraction is measured in Vandenberg reaction, and because this fraction of bilirubin, that is conjugated or direct fraction of bilirubin, is soluble in water, it gets excreted in the urine. That is why it gives urine its Coca-Cola color. That is why it is called as choleric jaundice. It is also called as regurgitant jaundice, we will see later, but regurgitant jaundice because most of the reasons which cause conjugated hyperbilirubinemia are due to cholestasis or obstruction in the biliary tract. Once biliary tract is obstructed, the conjugated bilirubin refluxes back across tight junctions of hepatocytes into the blood. That is why it is also called as regurgitant hyperbilirubinemia. Now, let us look into unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. It's because of indirect fraction in Vandenberg reaction which causes unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, and this because this fraction is insoluble in water, it leads to jaundice called as acholeric jaundice. It does not give high color to the urine, and secondly it is also called as retention type of hyperbilirubinemia because most of the reasons for increase in serum bilirubin in this condition are related to overproduction of bilirubin, overproduction like hemolysis, hematoma. That is why it is retained in the body and not excreted. So, retention, acholeric or unconjugated or indirect are same things. Now, another term we must understand is delta bilirubin. What is delta bilirubin? Till now we know that conjugated bilirubin does not require any carrier, but when conjugated bilirubin remains in serum for a prolonged time because of some diseases, it can actually bound covalently to albumin, and this conjugated bilirubin bind to albumin is called as delta bilirubin. This is clinically very important. There are two clinically important implications. First implication is that the half life of this bilirubin is 12 to 14 days, which is much higher, much higher than half life of conjugated bilirubin, that is just 4 hours. So, half life of this bilirubin is 12 to 14 days, which is almost the same half life of albumin. So, what happens? Because this is bound to albumin, this does not get excreted in urine. So, despite conjugated hyperbilirubinemia, there is no direct fraction in the urine because it is bound to albumin. And secondly, in cases of hepatocellular jaundice, when there is liver damage, this bound conjugated albumin complex remain in serum for much longer time even after recovery of hepatocellular jaundice. So these two things we must remember. So what is the differential diagnosis of jaundice? There are three conditions one must remember. Carotenoderma, which is defined as, which happens because of prolonged and excessive use of certain pigment containing vegetables like carrots, green leafy vegetables, peaches and oranges. How do we differentiate it from jaundice? The discoloration of the skin is mainly restricted to nasolabial folds, palms and soles in carotenoderma, unlike jaundice where it involves sclera, mucous membranes and every part of the skin. Second is quinacrine, which is a drug used in malaria and anti-inflammatory drug, can also cause yellowish discoloration in about 4 to 37% of cases. And third is of course excessive use of phenol. All these three conditions can look like jaundice, they can masquerade jaundice, but they are actually not jaundice. Now let's look into detail how jaundice, what are the reasons for jaundice and how we can correlate basic science knowledge to clinical context. So jaundice can be classified in different ways. One way we have seen that it can be classified as conjugated hyperbilirubinemia or unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia. Another way it can be classified is whether it can be, the reasons for jaundice can be prehepatic, hepatic or posthepatic. Prehepatic, hepatic or posthepatic. In prehepatic, when the reasons for jaundice are prehepatic, it can be a problem with the production of bilirubin or transport of bilirubin. When liver cells are involved as a reason for jaundice, then it can be a problem with uptake, it can be a problem with conjugation, or it can be a problem with secretion of conjugated bilirubin into the biliary tract. And after the liver, if there is any cause, that's called as the post-hepatic reason for jaundice, and it could be biliary system, any obstruction in the biliary tract, or it could be some problem with the enterohepatic circulation. So these things one must remember, that reasons for jaundice can be prehepatic, hepatic or post-hepatic jaundice. And how do we see that? Most of the, if there is a problem in bilirubin metabolism before conjugation, then they lead to unconjugated hyperbilirubinemia, which we have learned that, which can also be called as retention or echoliuric hyperbilirubinemia. And if there is a problem in bilirubin metabolism after conjugation, then of course it is called as conjugated hyperbilirubinemia or regurgitant or choliuric hyperbilirubinemia.